Well, we're here with Mason Lundell today, and he's the owner of Unchained Wellness. And it was introduced to me, Unchained Wellness. So I'm going to just kind of throw out my understanding, and then I'm going to let you do some talking. I'm really intrigued by this Unchained Wellness clinic that you've got. I view myself as healthy. I mean, I'm 48.
You look great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. All right. This may go further than a podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a second date. All right. So for the last 20 some odd years, I've been dealing with, I've been fortunate, frankly, to deal with folks that are really at their lowest.
Yeah.
So somebody that's going through a divorce, somebody that's been charged with a crime. I mean, that's basically where I would come in with the criminal defense stuff, but we've got great divorce attorneys as well. Somebody that's been lambasted in a car accident and literally can't get out of bed for a certain amount of time, let alone go to work. And then you see variations of, smaller tragedies too.
Yeah.
But they're still not fun things to be dealing with. So I deal with these folks at a low spot, if not rock bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I got into health in general was because I couldn't take that load, that heavy load that you're carrying around all day long, twice on Sunday. And so I thought, you know what, I need some mental discipline. And that began a regimen of, it's 16 years. I've been doing it for 16 years. Awesome. I'm not fancy. I jog 3 miles and work out in my neighbor's garage is how it began.
Yeah.
Dropped 50 pounds. Thought that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
All right. And then just kept an active lifestyle and variations of, but I don't do anything that crazy. I'm not built to be a meathead in a gym. Even if I tried real hard and took whatever supplement there is, and even illegal supplements, the peds wouldn't even touch me properly. I mean, I am made to be thin, apparently.
Right.
Made to be lean.
It's all right.
It is what it is. Whatever. Other fellas can just look a bit prettier.
Yeah.
I might outlive them.
Well, thin plays sometimes too.
Okay. Maybe a third date now we're working on. So my understanding when I'm looking at Unchained Wellness, I'm looking at this going, all right, this is different. And I'm looking at your website only. This is different. This is something I'm very interested here because you're dealing with the same things that I thought were important for myself.
Yeah.
Mental strength. I needed some mental, I needed to be sharp for these folks that needed our help here.
Yeah.
Physical strength. I needed to be, I wanted to feel good getting out of bed. I wanted to be proactive in life. I wanted to tackle life. I didn't want to just have life tackle me. Okay. And I'm looking at your website going, dadgum. I mean, these guys deal with the mental frailties that our community kind of has, and we're seeing a lot more of that. Anxieties, discouragement, depression.
Yeah.
Which I feel like those link to physicality, but we'll get to that. I'm going to let you be the opine on that.
Yeah.
But I'm reading your website and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, okay, they're tackling that. And they're tackling wellness in general, like fitness, being active, an active lifestyle. And they have these kind of natural ways of going about. I mean, everything seems to be almost holistic or natural, but then there's also, okay, well, by the way, we're not anti FDA this or whatever that. We're not anti anything that's going to propagate a better lifestyle or a better outcome for an individual.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it looked individualized to me. And I thought, this is freaking cool. I got to talk to this guy. And so from what I just said, okay, that's my impression of your website. And so, yeah, I want to go there. And I want to see, all right, there's a handful of things that interest me right now at my phase of life
Yeah.
that you guys do, like the cold plunge thing, that's got the, it seems to have some benefits that I could use. I'm a little bit nervous about the shrinkage, but whatever.
It's okay.
If it's not permanent, you guarantee it.
There's some testosterone benefits to cold plunge. I mean,
nice. All right.
It might hide for a little bit, but it'll come out and play later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay, cool. We'll just say that a few times over for my wife. So it's just hiding right now.
It's just hiding.
But it will come out later.
Yep.
All right. So what made you think to start this up?
That's a great question. That's a long answer, but my wife and I were introduced to this clinic by some good friends of ours, and we just, through my history, I just felt like allopathic medicine just wasn't the answer for a lot of things. My dad was a heart surgeon, and he, throughout his career, operated over on 5,000 patients.
Yep.
Open heart surgery.
Navy SEAL in the surgical.
Navy's, yeah,
Yep.
just a rock star in the community here, top doc several times in the magazine, just a very good surgeon. Yeah. And at the end of his career, towards the end, he was just baffled by the stat that only 50% of his clients had high cholesterol. And he's like, that's just not what I was taught. And it's just not true. So he wrote a book about it.
What was that book's name?
I think The Cholesterol Myth.
It was The Cholesterol
Myth.
I happened to read this book.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
I happened to read the book. I was moving my father-in-law, he rest his soul. And he had that book in his library. And I've always been a tick high on the cholesterol scale. So but I liked the name of the book. It was catchy.
Yeah.
So randomly, I just read the bloody book. And then that was your dad.
Yeah.
That wrote that. And it makes a lot of sense. So shout out to that book.
Shout out to the book. And as a side note, I forgot his name. Guy that passed away, a conservative talk show host. I forgot his name. Anyways, he picked the book, read it, and then she did a shout out for my dad's book.
Okay.
Who passed away recently?
Let's see here. It's a conservative talk show.
Big girly guy.
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Rush Limbaugh read the book and then had he shouted out the book on his program for my dad. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Limbaugh was pretty big time in a lot of circles.
Oh yeah, and so his main point from bringing it up was that it's just this guy's an anti-establishment. Like this goes against a ton of what's being pushed by the pharmaceutical companies about cholesterol, and that we need to be on statins the rest of our lives.
Right.
So
they can make some money, and we can probably not benefit a whole lot of nothing.
A perpetual patient.
Right.
Yeah, residual income.
Residuals.
Good stuff. So tying back into the clinic, that kind of mindset kind of grabbed hold of me. And my wife's super holistic, and she makes us eat like really good and looks at the ingredients of all the stuff. And, she's super healthy. And so the combination of her mindset and my mindset kind of culminated into looking into this clinic, and found an awesome way to help people holistically. Okay. And we chose kind of behavioral health as a spot to start in. We help people with depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADD, ADHD, and we help people with like gut issues and maybe mineral issues or like toxins or parasites. We can address a lot of these issues through our clinic. So we were super excited to get involved in the space. There's not a lot of alternative behavioral health clinics in the Valley. Right. There's some, but there's not a lot. And we felt like there was a huge space for us to fill.
So who's your youngest patient? You can't say the name, but just about how old would your youngest patient be?
Our youngest patient, we treat adolescents for ADD and ADHD.
Yeah, and also I read on there that really pegged my interest is also some oh boy, you worded it interesting on your website, but it looked to me like really just a pornographic or like an issue with porn.
Yeah, so pornography is a huge problem. Addiction. And as an attorney, a divorce attorney, you probably see like the cause of divorce is probably some guy jacking off and watching pornography. And the wife comes in, catches him, and she's like, I'm done with you.
Usually it's progressed from there, but that's always kind of
Right.
It's always seemingly the genesis.
Right.
Now we're seeing the wife.
And it's affecting both.
Side,
Yeah. So pornography is a huge family killer.
Yeah.
And we definitely can affect that. We treat pornography addiction, and we can help families stay back together, or help the guy just get his life back together. Because
just strengthen up the resolve to move along and move forward without those particular things yanking them back.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that intrigued me. That piece is like, ooh, okay. So basically I've got 150 clients in mind right now that could benefit from, like, acutely benefit. So let me explain what that means. It's like they could benefit right now. They're in the soup.
You're right.
And they need to be pulled out of the soup and kind of start to realize, get a little bit of momentum towards, some normalcy, then momentum in what their dreams and hopes in life are going to be. So that's that. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, so would I. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I'm in any soup. I might be, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But so would I. And so it's just like this particular Unchained looks to me like this is a really good thing to consider for A, maintenance, or B, let's keep some of these things in mind. Or if I've got a wayward teenager that's spent a little bit too much time, a little bit too much screen time, and his right arm is far bigger than his left. He just find his way over to your place, and let's see what can happen there before we jump into the. Man, I hate to put it this way, but I don't all at the same time. But before we jump into the Kookville of options medically, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense.
So I've got one that's, on medication that is no longer, like, we're kind of pulling that back and off, and he's been off for quite some time now. By quite some time, meaning a month. In showing the whole wide world that he never really should have been put on this crap in the first place. Wow. But then now step 2 is, all right, now let's teach him some life skills, and move him in a right direction, get that momentum going. Right. But he's 11. I mean, he's pushing 12. So I'm looking possibly, maybe we can get this thing as your youngest client ever type thing, because he's a sharp one. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, he's got a lot of ability. Just needs some, a little bit of tweaking. But who at that age doesn't?
Right. We all need help at that age. I mean, we're developing, our brains are still forming, and, with our current society right now, with the amount of screen time we subject our kids to, that is just a disaster, a recipe for disaster when it comes to development, mental development. And, I would say that parents should try to get their kids off the screen as much as possible. Right. Get them active, get them, different things. So the screen definitely affects the way your brain is developed, and wires your brain in a specific way, where kids are anxious, kids are depressed, kids, have suicidal thoughts, and it's a disaster.
So what happens then when you kind of go in this direction? Somebody walks in your guys' front door, and they have, let's say, they've got diabetes, type 2, and they're out of shape, and they're, let's say, pushing 40, or they're around 40. What are, and some of their other, let's say, because it's going to be patient, specific, and they're dealing with a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of depression. What are some of your protocols?
That's a great question. Well, our main focus at the clinic is behavioral health stuff. And so we would address their anxiety and depression up front. Okay. At the same time, we would check with their primary care physician and start chipping away at that diabetes and trying to support that as much as possible. And that's a cellular dysfunction with insulin and how you process insulin. Right. And so there's some steps that we can take to help support their insulin regulation. Obviously, diet. Hey, let's reduce your carbohydrate intake. Let's get rid of sugars. Let's increase certain things to help them adjust. A lot of times, the gut is a big culprit of how we digest our food and what we absorb. And so sometimes we're not absorbing the nutrients we're eating. We might eat super healthy, but our body's not digesting it properly, and it just kind of passes right through us. So we look at digestion. We'll do a stool test to find out exactly what's going on in their gut to address some of the underlying causes of diabetes.
So to understand it right, and I'm glad that you just said something just to drill down on it. You deal with the behavioral. I mean, that is first and foremost.
That's first and foremost. Yeah.
At Unchained.
Yeah.
Wellness is behavioral. So the anxiety, the discouragement, depression, the suicidal thoughts, things of that nature. But I mean, usually it's a spectrum. And so you're dealing with that first.
That's our primary focus. And then we drill down into contributing factors. What else is contributing to your depression or your anxiety? A lot of times it's the gut. The gut produces 90% or 80% of your dopamine or serotonin. And so if your gut is not healthy, then your brain's not going to be functioning properly, and then you're not going to produce enough neurotransmitters to keep that brain functioning properly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense to me because the mind is very, very important.
Super.
And it's one of those things that kind of directs the body, but if the body's breaking down, I like that focus because attitude is everything type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to drill down, as you just said, I love that saying, you drill down on, all right, let's tackle this depression. But hold on. I just found out that we've got a few medical issues here, a few physical issues here, and we're going to go ahead and be a helpmate there while we're tackling the depression.
Yeah.
Or the anxiety.
Yeah.
Which is gaining lots of popularity nowadays.
Oh, people are anxious left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad problem. So yeah, we love to drill down and help find those other issues. Like just today, I had a client come in with, he's a vet, older gentleman, type 2 diabetes, but suffering from PTSD.
Right.
Along with that comes depression, and we find that if you can get their state of mind better, then the body follows and helps heal it. Then when we attack their gut or attack their cellular health through diet, then the benefits are just exponential from there.
I love that. So the state of mind is basically the guide to that health, that ultimate goal of moving forward and getting better and better and better and better, living a more productive life.
Yeah. If you don't feel well mentally, if you're depressed, you're not going to get up and exercise. You're not going to get up and make yourself a healthy meal. You're not going to, write in a journal. You're not going to set goals. You're not going to do many
You're not going
things.
to progress.
No. So you got to get over that kind of first, and then you can start making progress in your own life. Yeah,
I like this because at the end of the day, sometimes we represent somebody, and this has happened kind of maybe thousands of times. They get in this car wreck and they're depressed because of the bloody car wreck. Sometimes a little bit shaken up, so a little bit PTSD there at the onset. But the depression then kicks in thereafter. I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg type comment, but
right.
But they're missing work. They're not active. They're missing things they used to do, even the smallest of things like vacuuming. Or picking up something, or unloading the dishwasher, whatever. Having had to have somebody wait on them for a little bit longer, or whatever, or often for a lot of things. So it's like, all right, I've had this mindset a while back. Like, I don't know, it's been about 15, 17 years. Let me leave them better than I found them. Now, look, we're just the law firm on this thing. I mean. Let's make that the culture here at the Arizona firm. Let's leave them better from having a car wreck.
I love that.
Let's get them better from having a car wreck. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to start shuffling them your way because this is the mindset that is conducive to, living a more productive life.
Exactly. I mean, as an attorney, you want to add value to your clients, and to indemnify them from their accident and to provide them with the financial ability to take care of themselves is huge. That's awesome.
Right.
And then on top of that, having the mindset of, hey, let's get them holistically taken care of so they can move on with their life. That's commendable. That's great.
Now, I like the idea of having a spot now to go, okay, go to Unchained now. Let's get going there. And then hand in hand with, the physical therapy and the, all the physicality stuff, man, you spit out a much maybe stronger human being.
You do.
For having gone through something you didn't ask to do.
Yeah.
But we all go through, ups and downs, highs and lows in life.
We sure do.
And, whether you're, it doesn't matter who you are. It's just going to happen. The ups and downs just look different.
Yeah.
So... yeah, no, it grabbed my attention. I really like what you guys are about.
Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I'm going to have to get a hat from you. Do you have hats yet?
No hat, no. My swag people haven't developed a hat yet.
Our swag people, your swag people need to talk to my swag people,
They
and they can
definitely
commiserate.
Do. Yes, they
They can commiserate because I don't have hats either.
Yeah, and as a bald person, I need a hat almost every day.
Well, I don't know. It looks kind of...
I look good bald, but I definitely need to
You have
protect
a good
it.
head, you know what I mean?
do, yeah.
We may be working on a fourth day now.
Maybe.
I'm liking this. Okay. All right. Yeah, no. So let it be known. I am, oh boy. I'd love to meet your old man, because the reality is he kind of opened my eyes. He's the first one to really bring it up in my mind.
Yeah.
That this FDA crap, all right. Now I'm looking at clients that are coming in. They're possessing heroin. A couple of years ago, that was all the rage. It was heroin. Meth was after heroin. Heroin's always been around. Then it was doubling up on the meth and the heroin.
Yeah.
That went on for a bit, a skinny second. And during the 20-plus years we've been doing this, cocaine's made a comeback. That's pretty cool. The 80s throwback.
Yeah.
They legalized marijuana. Half our cases were marijuana-related cases once upon a time, and now all of a sudden you just go out and toke up all you want.
Yeah.
And not only that, let's just add everything we possibly can to the marijuana so we can keep them strung out on that. Okay. And I'm starting to really dislike psychedelic stuff. Seems to get folks in trouble, but now I'm kind of had turned the corner after reading the book. And I wish I could tell you the date exactly, but after reading your dad's book, I started thinking, you know what? There's a common thread. I started asking a question. There's a common thread with a lot of these folks. And this common thread is prescription medication. And we're talking psychotropic medication, not painkillers, not, what you would think. Yeah, not saying that we don't see the Percocet turned into, an alcoholic, or the alcoholic turned into, whatever. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that one was shocking. Is like, who put you on that? Right. And you don't know what the down road of, and then they keep trying different ones and different ones, this and different, amounts and all this jazz. And it's like, is anybody going to raise their hand at some point and say, does anyone have a damn clue about the brain? Because I'm pretty sure you people don't, but you're throwing out this stuff like it's in one of those quarter vending machines in the bloody bashes.
Totally. They don't. Doctors, I love them to death, and they're great for what they do. But when it comes to prescription drugs, they're not educated a ton. They've got these sales guys that come to the door promising this and promising that, and they're just educated on pushing a certain drug. Right. And sadly, we've created a nation of just drug addicts. Right.
It does appear that way.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like, okay, let's consider Unchained wellness. Let's consider these things. And that does require probably from your patients a little bit of effort.
It does. America wants super easy solutions, but when it comes to health, you've got to be engaged. It's not, you can't just take a pill and magically get skinnier.
Right.
You know, you can't just take a pill and make yourself feel better.
Right.
There's effort, and through effort is joy. And we have a cold plunge at our facility to help with just everything. I mean,
Are you going to say that the cold plunge produces joy?
cold plunge definitely produces dopamine.
Cold plunge produces dopamine?
1,000%.
Cold?
Oh, and shrinkage. Yes,
Okay.
and shrinkage. I didn't see it, but yeah, your microphone there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cold plunge is a magic medicine.
Look,
and
I've been debating turning one of my chest freezers into a bloody
just do it.
plunge into
It's awesome.
into a cold jacuzzi
You should.
at 38 degrees and keep it there and whatever. But now I'm thinking maybe I'll just cruise by your place and try it out and let you shrink me.
Right now, we're doing a special for all first responders.
Oh,
So
cool.
firefighters, police officers, law enforcement, and 911 dispatchers and nurses can come use our cold plunge for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And but not those that work in the legal field.
Well, you know, I'm not sure what kind of trauma you've experienced during the day.
I'm married with 7 children.
Oh, that is a lot of trauma. Yes.
Yeah. I need the plunge.
You
man.
should come try
I'll
the
pay
plunge
I'll
out.
pay for
Come,
the plunge.
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
get.
not
Yeah,
that
I'll
big of
pay
a
to
deal.
get shrinked.
Come try the plunge.
Honey, I shrunk.
It's amazing.
Kids. But do talk more about the cold plunge.
So we talked about effort and
Yeah,
the
that's where we
dopamine
were.
response. So
Right.
that's a natural, response to effort. Is when you accomplish something hard, you have this natural dopamine rush, or
Right.
dopamine hit. And so cold plunge stimulates that or simulates that, where you get in, it's hard, it's not comfortable,
Yeah.
but when you get out, your body and mind are just on fire. Like it's like a legal high.
Right.
When marijuana was illegal.
Right.
But man, when my first plunge,
Yeah.
I stepped out and I was just on cloud 9. And this place that I went to before I opened my clinic, they were so smart. They hit me up right then when I was like a high. He's like,
Right.
would you like to sign up for a membership? I'm like, yes, sign me up. Let's hit
Right.
it up.
Sounds brilliant.
12 treatments. Let's sign up.
Yeah. It's a good
And
business model.
It is a great business model. Get them high
Yeah.
and sign them up.
Right.
So that was my experience, my first time, and man, it changed me forever. It was awesome.
All right. I've heard nothing but things
Yeah.
like this about the cold.
And the people that get the bug, the people that give it 3 or 4 times to try it, they're hooked.
Right.
They love it. It makes them feel great, and there's no side effects. There's no addictive
Right.
anything to it.
I've never represented a cold plunge addict.
Yeah, they're far and few between.
We've not represented one that I know of yet. But there might be a reason why. Maybe the people that are plunging aren't breaking.
Got their shit together.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they just got it together, and that's it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
so then that's one piece,
That's just a small piece.
because the other things that you're talking about here require effort, require to present and to actually care about your body, mind, and spirit. I mean, they
do.
care about, all the above.
Yeah.
And to engage in this type of treatment would mean this is not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs treatment. You can go lazily sit, and I'm not saying people shouldn't go get counseling. I think counseling is great. I think absolutely. Counseling is a fantastic thing to do. But this is also in that vein wherein you're actively seeking to be more meaningful in your life, be more present in your life, be more mindful in your life, and to not just crack a pill bottle and take a pill and then magically be numbed from being anxious.
Yeah.
You're tackling, why am I anxious? You're tackling the root of the anxiety,
We are.
or the root of the mental illness, whether that be depression, anxiety, whatever the case might be. I mean, you're tackling the root of these things, with folks. So it requires their participation, their effort.
This sure does, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah. Backing up a little bit, it's interesting. So one of our modalities is covered by insurance. It's FDA approved. It's called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Okay. That's fancy.
Super fancy.
Say that 3 times.
No thanks.
Okay.
So it's interesting. In order to qualify for TMS, the insurance companies make you have to have tried antidepressants twice, 2 different rounds, and like 3 different medications. So you have to first try the pharmaceutical way, and then you're allowed to go and get paid, alternative ways, which, TMS is not alternative anymore. It's mainstream. It's main FDA approved. And so it's just interesting that the pharmaceutical companies make you do that first, then hit the TMS.
Interesting.
But again, without the proper coaching on lifestyle changes, the TMS has like a 60 to 65% success rate.
That's a lot.
Which is high.
Yeah.
Which is high, but it could be a lot more if the providers would train them or coach their clients on
more support.
Yeah. Hey, what's your diet like? Oh, you eat Doritos every day, and you eat Red 40, dyes, and you eat, Red Vines.
You're doing six monsters, and you're going through drive-through twice a day.
We should think
about a handful of Twinkies and Ho-Hos.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
You're not gonna feel very great.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, the success rate would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
For those people that actually put forth some effort. So, effort is key.
Well, and effort, I think, is something that you either are scared into, or you just go out of hell with it. And some people come with just going, you know what, I got to do something. I mean, my day was not that sexy. I'm going down a tube slide because my not quite 2-year-old little boy wouldn't go down on his own. He's scared to go down, and he's talking me into going down with him. Well, I get to the bottom of this little dinky who cares tube slide, right? And I had to do the fat man roll with him on my stomach, but I had to do the fat man roll to get off the slide.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, that's it.
Yep.
That's okay. All right, we're doing something about this. But as far as anxieties, depression, things like that, I don't really have those things. They don't present.
Yeah.
Do I have the normal stress and things like that? It sounds to me like you guys, what you do there would really benefit me on a regular basis for maintenance and for, that mindset.
No, it does. Totally does. I'll give you another story. This gentleman came in. He's in the middle of divorce, recently divorced, stressed out. Wife's, just a tough situation.
Yeah.
She's got kids. She sees them once a week. It's just really stressful. As an attorney, you know how stressful it is. And very anxious, not sleeping well at night. And he saw our social media posts. He thought, I'll give this guy a try. He's looking for answers. I think most of our clients are not happy with where they're at, looking for answers. So we came in, rode one of our modalities called the theta bed. And it helps with a ton of stuff. But for him, we did reduce stress and insomnia.
Okay.
And in one treatment, he came out and was like, I said, how do you feel? Well, first of all, he was weeping. He was like literally just kind of weeping because he had this trauma release. Yeah. And that theta bed releases trauma and helps you kind of get rid of that emotional junk. Got out, said, how do you feel? He goes, this is the first time I felt safe in the last 6 months.
Wow.
Where he just felt like safe.
Right.
And kind of broke down to me, gave me a big old hug, and then
Did you sign him up right after?
Oh yeah, we signed him up.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah. And it was just a spot treatment. It wasn't a chronic. It was a situational depression, situational situation where, we got him treated, got him kind of on his way and feeling better. He bought eight sessions with us and was able to affect his life. And
absolutely,
it was awesome.
Do people typically come back?
They do. Yeah.
It seems like this type of deal would be, all right, I let it go. It's not like a gym membership where you let it go for a week or two and then you're pretty much done. I mean, that you just collecting gym memberships. I had 4 at one time. This seems like one of those things where you'd be like, I need to get back there. I need to make time in my schedule to get back there because of that effect.
Yeah.
That weeping effect, that safety, that I'm doing something for me, and this is not just beautifying or getting some Botox or doing this or doing that. No, I'm coming in here for my soul.
Yeah. No, that treatment specifically is very, very therapeutic. It's healing. Everybody that does it has a good night's sleep that night.
I was just going to say, because you mentioned insomnia, and man, if somebody's not sleeping,
their health is jacked up.
Yeah.
You need that time. Your body needs that time in that deep sleep state to recover, to process all your crap during the day, your cells to recover.
Right. All the stress life is stressful. So all the stress of the day, and you're tired to boot and wiped out, and then all of a sudden the kids are driving you extra nuts, even though they're probably not being extra crazy.
Yeah.
They're probably being just extra, just the same. And then you're late for this, and you're just running, chasing your dadgum tail.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably telling a story that many people can relate to. And really setting that time, that clock, setting that priority, which we're all our own priority. We need to be. We sleep alone at the end of the day, no matter who's in our bed.
Yep.
And so these are the things that, really make a difference between a good person and a great person. And wouldn't we all want to kind of land on that great person as often as possible anyway? I do. I want to land there.
Right.
And to me, that effort for that mindset, that these things are just, they make sense to me.
There are. And we've lost sight of what a healthy lifestyle is.
Right.
We've been fed, sit in front of Netflix and chill, right, and just eat fast food. And I don't know. Growing up, we didn't eat out all that much.
No.
I mean, my dad was a heart surgeon. We certainly could have, but man, my mom fed us dinner, and it was like a once a month that we'd go out to a restaurant together.
Well, you're from the Valley, right?
I'm from there. I grew up here.
All right.
Yep.
So when I'm growing up, there was only 3 drive-thrus anyway. So we didn't eat out.
Yeah.
Ever. Our filtration system was awesome. It was because you didn't want the hose taste in your water. You filled the big huge igloo up with the dispenser, not the hose. So you didn't have the hose taste. But we drank water. My dad was a concrete contractor, so that's how we grew up in dirt and so on. But you ask me who the kid in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade was that had glasses, I'd say the nerd. That's John McGeehan. There's one of them. Right? Who's the fat kid? There was one of them. There were identifying factors. They weren't shaming factors.
Right.
They were just identifying. All right? And so the rest of us kind of fell in a big old lump of whatever, but we were active. We ate at home. And those 2 things are, okay, that's like already unique because now they're just on a screen and and if they do eat at home, it's ramen or mac and cheese if you want a little more nutrition,
Little Caesars.
Right? Or Little Caesars or Grubhub or whatever's coming by or whatever mom can look in the rearview mirror and go, oh, I just passed the Canes, whatever the case might be. It's just this fast-paced, I think, can easily be thought through, and then little things can be brought back to let's kind of rein this in.
Yeah. And
your clinic seems to be a really good spot to start that adventure, to start that new outlook.
We can give people that are struggling with their life a foundation of, hey, we're going to make you feel good. We're going to repair some behavioral health issues for you. And then we're going to give you the foundation to move forward from there and develop some better habits.
Yeah.
And
you come back and come back and kind of see us and let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, we love the check-ins.
Absolutely. To me, that's like one of those things where I feel like, oh, right, I need to call and see how they're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, they're back in rehab, or they're not. They're oftentimes the ones we don't hear from that really took what your baton and ran.
Yeah.
And ran well with it. My wife, some years ago, decided she wanted to get fit. She wanted to get healthy. And I told her, and she said, a weight. I want to get to this weight. I said, let your body tell you where you're going to go. You just do your thing. And she did. She did all sorts of different things and eventually landed on a program for her her own. Rollerblading, who knew? I mean, she's just like rollerblading all over Hell's Half Acre.
She do rollerblade, like roller derbies?
No, she didn't roller derby. She could probably throw a good forearm shift.
Boom.
I could see the shimmy going on there. She probably could. She's a strong gal. Dropped 50, and is very active. But our little girl said, "Hey, how did you get a 6-pack?" And she goes in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that's never left me. I'm like, interesting that she, she lifts some weights. She doesn't do anything crazy. She rollerblades because she loves it. And where'd you get your 6-pack? And she just
in the kitchen.
said to our little girl in the kitchen.
I love that. Yeah.
And they know that she's active. And that's really good. That's a good first start. But they also, I'm having a hard time with the 12-year-old getting off his bloody Switch and whatever else he has. He has a few things. And I'm tired of Pokemon. I'm tired of knowing about Pokemon.
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I've got there's Pokemon all over the place in my life, and I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about your Huffy or building a ramp outside or something?
Right.
What in the Sam hell is going on here? So I might want to young up your clinic a little bit. I have a line of
I
got
them
7 of them.
That's a lot. Well, I've got 6. Between us, we'd have a party down there.
We would have a party.
Yeah.
We would have to go to that Little Caesars you're talking about.
We would, yeah, to afford it.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, Mason, it's been fantastic having you in here. I
appreciate it.
I'd love to talk to you more about these things, as often as possible. I think people need to get this information. I think more people out there are willing to kind of drill down and take a better approach and a more forwardly thinking approach on, I'm going to take my health, my mind, my body, my spirit more seriously, and I'm going to begin it. And your clinic seems to be a damn good spot to start.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I grateful for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for letting me come on your show, and really, really like it. And I hope that people, take their health and their behavioral health, in their own hands, and listen to themselves. And if you're not getting the results from, your medications, there are other answers out there.
Every person listening to this that does take medication. I'm not saying every person listening to this takes medication. I'm saying everyone that does is likely displeased or doesn't know how well it's working or not.
Yeah.
And what dosage they're going to be on the next go around, and so on and so forth, or what brand now and what brand now. So we're talking to a choir out there that knows what you're saying is, hey, let's empower you.
Yeah.
Let's take the bull by the horns. Let's go. I like that.
Yep. Love it. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
I appreciate it.